Welcome to this Awaken Learning tutorial on the grading features now available in Google Forms. That's right, you can now grade some types of form questions without the use of an add-on like Flubaroo. As of this recording, you certainly can't do all the things that Flubaroo allows you to do, but if your assessment is all basic multiple choice, checkbox, and drop-down questions, you'll be in business. I found this great blog post by Eric Curtis that provides a wonderful side-by-side comparison of the features of these two different grading options. You're definitely going to want to go check out this article before you make any serious decisions about which one you want to use for grading. So I'll put the link to this article in the comments on this video. Now let's get started. Let's say I have this quiz that I've created in the past and I've used with Flubaroo, and now I want to enable the grading options within Google Forms on this particular quiz. So the first place I'm going to go is up here to the gear icon to go to my form settings. And you'll discover, if you're familiar with forms already, that you now have a new tab that wasn't there before called Quizzes. So I'm going to go there. And I'm going to turn on this option to make this a quiz. That's going to give me the ability to add point values to the questions and select correct answers. Now there's a few other options that I need to pay attention to on here as well. I can choose when the grade is going to be released to the student, immediately after they've submitted it, or later after I have had a chance to look at scores and maybe want to push them all out at once. So I have those two options. In a little bit, I'll show you what those look like to the students. I also have choices about what I want the students to see when they do see their scores. Whether I want them to see which questions they missed, what the correct answers are. I might want to turn that off if I'm going to have them take this quiz again if they don't reach a certain score. And I can let them see the point values assigned to each question. So I can check or uncheck any of those options I want. But I definitely need to click Save. Okay, now that I've done that, now when I click on a question to be able to edit it, you'll see I have a new option here that says Answer Key. Currently this question is set to 0 points and none of the questions are marked as the correct answer. But if I click Answer Key, now I can come in here and say how many points I want this question to be worth, and I can mark the correct answer. You can mark more than one correct answer as well. Another great option is that I can give answer feedback. So if I click on that link, it gives me a place to put in what I want the student to see if they've answered incorrectly and what I want them to see if they answer correctly. So I might put something like, looks like you need to study for an incorrect answer. I can even link it to a website. So perhaps I want to take them to this website if they get wrong answers so that they can do a little more studying and learn the information they were supposed to. So I'm going to paste that link in and I'm going to call this Water Cycle Review. I do have to click Add to actually attach it to that incorrect feedback response. For the correct answers, maybe I just want to say, great job. Then I need to save that. Okay, so now you see that those two pieces of feedback are attached to this question. So I'm going to have to continue on through this old quiz, and I'm going to have to make those adjustments on every question. Because this quiz has already been created. So I have to go in and adjust the points. I have to mark the correct answer on each one. I'd have to go in and do that feedback on each question if I want to adjust this old quiz. Now I do want to show you a quick shortcut if you're making a quiz from scratch. So let me go here to like a brand new sample quiz. I've put one question into it. I've made it worth 1 point. I've marked the correct answer. I've put in my correct answer feedback and my incorrect answer feedback. So if I click back on Edit Question to get back to this view that you're probably familiar with, you see that I have the option to duplicate the question. If I do that, it's going to copy over with it the point value and that feedback. And of course, I can always go in. Let me go back to editing. I can always go in and change the question type, change the question, change the responses, but I've copied over that. It's just a little shortcut that might save you some time, especially if you're putting in feedback for every question. If it's going to be the same feedback for every question, that might be a really helpful shortcut if you're making a quiz from scratch. Now, if you're not making the quiz from scratch, you got to sit there and go through all of those. And so let's say that I've done that now and I'm ready to, let me go back here, ready to send this out to my students. So I'm going to do that in the usual manner. It's going to look like this to the students. So you see that now on the side here, it's showing the point values for these questions. So the student can see that, and the student's going to give their responses. Now, if you have it turned on so that the student is going to immediately see their scores, this is the page that will come up when they submit their answers. There'll be a link here that says View Your Score, and if the student clicks on that, they'll be able to see their own responses along with that feedback that you're giving them. It's also color-coded, so the correct answers are all green. An incorrect answer is going to show up as red, and here's the correct answer because I had that option turned on. And here's the link that I wanted them to have if they got a question wrong for incorrect answers. They can click that and go to that website to study. So you can see the total points are showing here for that student as well. They can see that they got 14 out of 15. Now, if you have it turned off so that they're not going to see their results immediately, they will simply get a page that looks like this. It just says your response has been recorded. Depending on how you have some of the other settings, there may be a link there for them to submit another response, or depending on how you have turned those options off or on. Now let's go back, if I can find the right tab here. Let's go back and see what you're going to see as the teacher as those student responses start coming in. So if I go here to my responses tab, you can see that I've got 6 responses on this particular quiz. And I'm going to go to the summary, which is how it comes up initially. Really great insights that Google is showing us here. We can see the average score, the median score, and the range of scores. We can also see how those points are distributed, how many students have gotten each individual score. We can see the individual students' responses. Of course, I was the one that took all of those sample quizzes, but you would have each of your different students' email addresses listed there and their individual scores. Right here is this button to release scores, and that's really important if you are waiting until later to show the students their scores. If you had it so they're not going to see them immediately, then you would need to click on this and send emails and release those scores in order for the students to be able to see what they got on that quiz. Also, you could put in an email message to them here as well. Just show you a little more about what you're going to see here. You're going to see each individual question, and you're going to see how the students answered, the number of students that answered with each response. So these are really terrific analytics that can help you use this assessment to guide your instruction and decide what needs to happen next. You can also come up here to individual. Of course, these are just normal form options aside from grading, but we can come up here to the individual responses and see what an individual student has responded with as well, and we can click through those different students and see their different results. Of course, we can also send all of these results to a spreadsheet as well. So there you have it. I'm sure that Google will continue to release new options as teachers start giving their feedback about this new feature. So make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel for updates. And in the meantime, if you have any questions or I can help you in any way, please reach out to me.